Alright mga kapatid, pag-usapan naman natin ngayon dito sa video lecture na ito, yung final taxes applicable sa corporations. Sabi ko nga sa previous na video lecture, this is similar, no? Parang extension ng discussion natin sa individual taxpayers, yung passive income, no? Pero this will apply sa corporations, unlike before doon sa mga individual taxpayers. Okay, but before that, no, bago ko ipakita sa inyo yung mga tables na ito, please take note, especially yung ating mga accountancy students. Meron kasi tayo before sa train law, before yung create law, no, meron tayong tinatawag na gross income tax or yung optional corporate income tax or the 15% gross income tax. Pero kasi class, sa create law, repealed na po ito, deleted na. So hindi ko na rin ito pag-aaksayahan ng panahon, para i-discuss sa inyo. If you want, you may do it, you may research on it, you may study on it, on your own. Pero I will not give a specific discussion on that one. Okay? So yan po, repealed na kasi yan under the create law. Okay, sige. So pag-usapan na po natin yung mga final taxes on passive income and also yung capital gains tax. Kung naalala pa ninyo yung individual taxpayers, so madali na lang ito. Ko-compare lang natin yung mga differences. I'm not sure, careful lang. Kasi yung sa individual taxpayers, when I created that reports, when I created the materials, the video lectures, naka-train law pa tayo. Train law. So, hindi ko lang nabalikan, hindi ko pa na-update kasi baka meron tayong mga changes doon because of the create law. So, study on your own. Be cautious lang, na yung discussion ko noon is more of the train law pa. Wala pa yung consideration for the create law. Kasi yung create law na isa batas ito last year. So, nung ginawa ko yung material, hindi pa nailabas yung create law. So, hindi na siya updated as of the moment. Okay? Compare nyo na lang if you are using that material. Now, ano yung mga final taxes natin on passive income and capital gains tax? Ganun lang din po, no? Kasi aside from the RSIT or MSIT, yung corporation is also subject sa final taxes on passive income and then the capital gains tax. Now, before the create law, meron tayong tinatawag na IAET, Improperly Accumulated Earnings Tax. Pag sobra-sobra yung ating retained earnings. Pero na-repeal na po kasi ito sa create law, hindi na rin po natin ito bibigyan ng pansin sa video lecture na ito. Wala na rin po tayong separate discussion on improperly accumulated earnings tax. But for your reference, you may do a research on that para naman meron kayong additional additional learning kung ano yung IAET, Improperly Accumulated Earnings Tax. Okay? Sige. So, ito po yung table natin for the passive income derived from Philippine sources. Okay? Interest income, yield, other monetary benefit. Okay? That is the passive income received by a domestic corporation, a resident foreign corporation, or a non-resident foreign corporation. Wala naman tayong changes. Okay? 20% pa rin po interest income in any currency. Excuse me. Sorry. Interest income in any currency bank deposit, yield or any monetary benefit from deposit substitute, and yield or any monetary benefit from trust fund and other similar arrangements. 20% pa rin yan. Yun nga lang, pagdating sa NRFC, yung mga non-resident foreign corporation, eto sa train law, 30% yan, but because of the create law, naging 25% na lang yan. But in terms of the domestic and resident foreign corporation, 20% lang din po ito. Okay? What else? Okay, eto pa, still under number 1, interest income, yield, other monetary benefit. Yung mga interest income na nadiderive natin sa mga depository banks under the EFCDS, yung Expanded Foreign Currency Deposit System, Please take note, ang relevant dito is the create law. 1515 exempt. Before kasi, prior to train law, 7.5 yan. But because of train law, naging 15, 7.5 exempt. But sa ngayon, under the create law, 1515 exempt, no? DC, RFC, and RFC respectively. Ang relevant sa atin dito, because we are already under the create law, 1515 exempt. Okay? Royalties. On train law, 20-20-30. But on the create law, yun, ang natamaan lang is our non-resident foreign corporation from 30, naging 25. 20% pa rin under the domestic and the resident foreign corporation. Okay? So, royalties. What else? Yung mga dividends. Sa train law kasi, ang mga dividends coming from a domestic corporation, received by a domestic corporation and a resident foreign corporation, exempt po yan. But once the recipient is a non-resident foreign corporation, 30-15. But of course, because of the create law, 25 na yan. Okay? From domestic corporation. But if the provider, ang nanggaling ito sa isang resident foreign corporation, okay, exempt po yan for domestic corporation if the recipient is a domestic corporation coming from a resident foreign corporation, RCT yan for an RFC, final withholding tax yan for an NRFC. Okay? So, 25% final withholding tax. Sources or sourced without the Philippines or outside, ito yung tinatawag natin ng mga foreign source dividend, it may be exempt under certain conditions. The same if the provider is from a non-resident foreign corporation, foreign source dividend, it may be exempt under certain conditions. Okay? So, please take note of these provisions, Ang pinaka tinatamaan naman dito is yung mga non-resident foreign corporations. From 30% previously, naging 25% na lang ito. Okay? Etong income derived by depository under the FCDS, Foreign Currency Deposit System, Please take note. Ito, walang distinction, domestic, resident. Ito pong ay applicable for both domestic corporation and resident foreign corporation. Etong table na ito. Okay, if the income is derived by a depository bank under EFCDS from what? From foreign currency transaction with non-residents, offshore banking units in the Philippines, local commercial bank including branches of foreign banks, exempt po yan from tax. Okay? If the income is from foreign currency loans, mga foreign currency denominated na loans, granted by a depository bank under the EFCDS to residents other than depository banks under the expanded system, subject po yan sa 10% final withholding tax. Okay, last item, any income of non-residents, whether individuals or corporation, from transactions with depository banks under the expanded system shall be exempt from income tax. Okay? Kaya exempt po yan. Now, you may wonder, Sir, medyo hindi ko naintindihan. Nakakalito. Okay lang naman. I know it is a challenge, really, Nakakalito nga naman yan. Ang dami kasing kailangan tandaan. At syempre, hindi naman mga photographic yung ating memories unless ikaw ay isang gifted. So, on the likes of ating mga scientists. Okay? O pinagpala ka sa iyong sa IQ. So, maaring photographic yung memory mo, madali lang ito. Pero majority sa atin, medyo challenge ito, I understand. Okay? That is why itong mga table na ito serves as a guide for you. Okay? Hindi naman expected na kabisaduhin ninyo ito. At least, on the minimum, we will be familiar. Okay? May i-familiarize lamang natin itong mga ang mga incomes na ito, itong mga passive and capital gains tax, yung pag-usapan natin sa susunod pa. Okay? So, it's okay if you feel that it's a challenge to memorize. You don't have to. Okay? It's more of, at least, no, na-introduce natin ito sa inyo. If you are not a BSA student, okay lang naman. But if wala namang problema, But if you are an accountancy student, mas maganda na you exert more effort na i-check po ito, Kung meron kang mga materials or meron kang libro, nag-invest ka sa book. Pagdating naman sa mga review centers, sa dinami-dami ng mga topics, okay, i-focus din naman nila kung ano yung mga tatandaan ninyo. Yun nga lang kasi ang challenge pagdating sa taxation, pabago-bago. So maaring may mga changes in the next years to come na dinidiscuss natin sa ngayon pero iba na sa susunod. Okay? Alright, sige. Pag-usapan naman natin yung capital gains derived from Philippine sources. Philippine sources, okay? Ito, hindi ko na tinakil yung under the train law or prior to train law. Ang i-focus na lang natin is under the create law. Ito na po yung ating mga porsyento. On capital gains from sale of shares of stocks of a domestic corporation pero hindi traded sa local stock exchange. 15, 15, 15. Pare-parehas lamang po ito. Okay? But when we are talking of a capital gains tax on sale or exchange or disposition of land or buildings, which the basis should be the selling price or fair market value, whichever is higher, 6%, NA, are not applicable. Plus, yung number 1, not traded in local stock exchange. Kasi pag traded in local stock exchange, remember your stock transaction tax, STT. 6/10 of 1%. Yun yung ating basis. Okay, eto naman, mga sale, capital gains from sale of shares of stocks na hindi traded sa local stock exchange. Tapos yung sa baba, capital gains tax on sale or exchange or disposition of land or building. Okay, magkakaiba po 'yan. All right? So hanggang dito muna tayo, class, tables lang siya to be familiar, for us to be familiar, for you to be familiar, The next topic we will be talking about is special corporations. Okay? So that's a separate session. Kaya hanggang dito muna tayo. Maraming salamat. I hope you learned something. I'll see you again in the next video lecture. Bye-bye.